All right. Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Dirt Road Salvation. I'm Joe. I'm your host. And tonight, we're going to be talking about AB5 and what we found, what it means, where we can and can't go now, and what this is going to mean for our future. So, if y'all are excited to talk about this topic and what we have going on, drop a like down below, hit that share button, give me a thumbs up if the audio is okay. Let me know you're hearing me okay. And where y'all coming from tonight? To me, we're up here in good old upstate New York. And top question for this evening is, do y'all run to California? Drop down in the comments and let me know. That's kind of been my bread and butter for a while, is going out to California. I love running coast to coast, but I don't think I'm going to be able to do that much anymore. But we're going to get into this topic here. And we're going to go and, Sleepy Tank. Yeah, he's always back there just sleeping. That's what he does. I mean, they say you can't teach old dogs new tricks. Well, yep, he's going to be 3 this December. Hard to believe I've had him that long already. Man, I've been doing this trucking thing way too long. But anyway, so what we're going to do is we're going to bring this on here. We are going to go over an article put out by ATBS. That is about a quick guide to the AB5 for truck drivers and what that means for us. And by no means, I'm going to go ahead and put this disclaimer here. I am not a lawyer. This is not legal advice. This is just what I'm pulling off of as to get information. And if y'all like it, give it a thumbs up. If you don't like it, give it a thumbs down. Tell me I'm a moron. All of that is perfectly acceptable. So, but without further ado, let's bring this article up here, and then we'll bring our guest on to discuss this after we get through this article. So, all right, so here we go. The quick guide to AB5 for truckers. It says on June 30th of 2022, the U.S. Supreme Court denied, I'm going to butcher this so bad, certiorari? I don't know. My English sucks. I speak a very specific dialect of redneck, so bear with me here. On AB5. As a result, the injunction on AB5 that has been in place for over 2 years will be lifted, and AB5 will be law in California, retroactive to January 1st, 2020. Some of us done broke the law now. All right, what is AB5? Assembly Bill 5 is a California law that restricts business from classifying workers as independent contractors rather than employees. The bill was driven by unions who wanted to organize workers. Experts believe that it will increase labor costs, create higher costs for consumers, reduce the quality of service, and most importantly, reduce the flexibility of workers. This bill is largely opposed by gig economy companies like Uber, Lyft, and DoorDash because the bill was initially created to try to combat these business models. Unfortunately, the bill will unintentionally affect independent contractor truck drivers in the state of California by making it difficult for work for themselves. So, the Dynamax ruling. AB5 is based on an April 30, 2018 California Supreme Court ruling on a case known as Dynamax. The Dynamax ruling establishes a presumption that workers are employees unless the hiring company can prove otherwise. Prior to Dynamax, the Borillo test was in place since 1989 was an 11-prong test that most independent contractor or owner-operators were able to pass. The Dynamax ruling replaces Borrello with its new 3-prong test called the ABC test to determine if a person can qualify as an independent contractor. The 3 prongs are: 1, the worker is free to control and direction of the hirer in connection with performance of the work. Number 2, the worker performs work that is outside the usual course of the hiring entity's business. And number 3, the worker is customarily engaged in an independently established trade, occupation, or business of the same nature as the work performed by the hiring entity. And down here is in parentheses, the second prong is the part that the test that owner-operators that are leased onto other trucking companies are unable to pass. Not people who have their own authority, but independent contractors who are leased onto a carrier running under their carrier numbers. So, who is exempt? There are some characters who are exempt from AB5, including doctors, dentists, insurance agents, lawyers, accountants, securities brokers, real estate agents, hairstyles, and many creative professionals. If you are exempt from AB5, you will still pass the Borrello test. You will still have to pass the Borrello test to be qualified as an independent contractor. Owner-operators are currently not exempt from this. The 2-check system. One potential solution is for AB5 is for carriers to pay their drivers via a 2-check system. Although rare, 2-check systems have been around for many years. Under the 2-check system, the driver is no longer an independent contractor, but is instead an employee of the carrier. At the same time, the driver has a rental agreement to rent his equipment from the carrier. The first check is if the driver is an employee, and the second check is for the rental of the driver's equipment. However, there are nuances that make this a difficult solution. For example, because the carrier is renting the truck, they can technically put any driver they want in the truck, especially if the primary driver is taking extended time off, like you're on vacation. Another example is that some believe they may pay the employee driver minimum wage and then put the rest of the money towards the rental of the truck. However, it is likely in this scenario that the IRS will consider this as shielding income. And a third issue is that an employee, the driver, can no longer choose when to work, how much they want to work, what loads to haul, or any other myriad of reasons that drivers choose to be independent contractors instead of employees. There are other potential issues with the 2-check system as well, but these are the examples the more common ones. So, in the meantime, the trucking industry will continue to work towards a solution because there is a significant concern that AB5 will quickly spread to other states like New Jersey, Illinois, Washington, and New York. The current administration would like AB5 and the PRO Act to be the rule of the land and would prefer all people to be employees and members of a labor union. Excuse me. Oh, gotta love live feeds. So sorry. Please excuse me. So, as things stand today in regard to AB5, the most common options we see are carriers offering their owner-operators with California residents and I believe there's 5 options. Option 1, move the residents out of California. Get the heck out. Go somewhere else. Option 2, you get your own authority and run and drive for the trucking company's brokerage division, which has its drawbacks. Significantly increases your costs, significantly increased administrative responsibilities, and you have to deal with all of the compliance. Number 3, quit being an owner-operator. Go be an employee. Be a W-2 truck driver. Number 4, you can deadhead out of California. We can take loads to them, but we can't pull loads out. Number 5, end your relationship with your carrier. So, in conclusion, with the Supreme Court refusing to hear AB5, I am not even going to try to pronounce that word. We're just not doing it. And AB5 is now law in California, retroactive to January 1st, 2020. Thus, if you are an owner-operator with a California residence, AB5 forces you to make immediate and significant changes to how to operate your trucking business. So, And then it's their little thing. It says here at ATBS, we're already seeing some of our clients moving their residents to other states like Nevada and Arizona. And this is because owner operators are independent contractors by choice and have no desire to become employees. And whatever steps you plan on taking, we hope it works out for the best. If you have any questions, feel free to call us or send us an email, and we will assist you the best we can. So, anyway, so for those of you that don't know, ATBS is an accounting firm that handles taxes for independent contractors and owner operators and lease operators and all that stuff. That's their primary mode of business. So, anyway, so the next question I wanted to ask y'all is what do y'all think of AB5? Drop a comment down below and let me know. But while we're all pondering on the glorious wonders of AB5, I am going to bring on my guest here, whom we haven't had in a while, because he's been doing some things and switching up some stuff. So, if you're ready, without further ado, I'm going to bring on our good old buddy Raw Truckin' here, and we're going to talk with him for a little bit. And he's not there. Hi. Where'd you go?
I heard you say something about California.
Yeah, run away. So,
fun topic.
Anyway, so we haven't had you on here. So we haven't had you on here for a while. So let's give them a little bit of the floor. See what you want to do here. Tell them what you've been up to and what all has changed since the last time they've seen you, and then we'll go from there.
All right. Move that back down a little bit. That's a little too much forehead. Anybody that doesn't know, I'm working on growing some hair back. Okay. For anybody that doesn't know, my name is Brandon. I run the Raw Trucking YouTube channel. I haven't been on lately. Basically, I was a USA truck driver, company driver for a little while. I went to USA to specifically to do a lease purchase, and given the time of COVID, it didn't really work out well for me. Ended up leaving as a company driver at USA, and went to a couple of different places. I recently just came back to USA Truck, but I'm now a lease operator running under my own LLC. So yeah, I'm on my way to owning this truck that I'm in right here in about 2 years. So I have come back to USA to get my own truck. Some people might think that I'm crazy for doing that in this crazy market, but I do plan on going into some more detail about that on my own YouTube channel. I know if anybody here on Dirt Road Salvation's channel is also aware of my channel. I know I haven't been on in a while. That's mainly because I ended up buying a new phone and lost the ability to log into my YouTube channel. But I'm back on now. It will be active again. I got some topics that I'd like to go over myself on my own channel. So
you kicked me out.
So yeah,
kicked me out. I gave you the floor and it's gone.
Well, it happens. But yeah, that's my situation. I'm here in my own truck, doing a lease purchase through Pro Lease, same place that Dirt Road Salvation has got his truck through. So wish me luck. Fingers crossed.
I run with sticks. Says glad to hear you back.
I'm back, but it won't be for too long.
Well, hold on. So, but I had a question for you. You mentioned something I thought was a little weird. So, the term lease operator, okay, wouldn't that would apply to people I would assume that are like Pam, US Express, Prime, the people whose trucks aren't independent of the company. Our trucks are independent of the company. We have a truck leased through a third-party carrier.
Yeah.
So it's our skin in the game. We can't walk away from this. That's it.
Yeah,
we can take our truck anywhere we want.
Do with our trucks. Well, for me and you, it's an old USA truck, but USA has they don't have any hold on our trucks whatsoever. We can do and take wherever we want our trucks to go.
So I wouldn't call us a lease operator. I don't know what you'd call us. I don't like that term. That to me that corresponds something to like Prime or PAM or US Express. That
I
where
guess for
we don't
us, it
have
would
any
be more
control on our
along the
trucks. We
lines
don't
of
pick our own freight.
you and I are like legit independent
So,
contractors.
right. I wouldn't say full like owner operator because we don't have MC numbers and things like that, but we're like
Well,
we are like I would say legit independent contractors, which is where um, the whole AB5 thing comes into play, and that's what's screwing everybody here. So, man, I
that
like
whole
straight lost everything.
that whole AB5 situation, it reminds me of how you used to give me so much crap about being a lease operator at MMM Freight Corp, where I was still
You weren't a lease operator. You were a 1099 misclassified employee.
I was a rental driver. But yes, I was an employee of the company, but I was leasing or renting the truck that I was driving with no intention of ever owning it, running under as a 1099. But I feel like with AB5, it's more because they actually said in it that it's geared more towards Uber, Lyft, Grubhub, people like that who are technically working as 1099. But I get where California is trying to come from, as like it's kind of that's why I brought up what you used to give me so much crap about as being an employee, but you're not an operator. So I feel like California is trying to stop the misclassification of an employee, but it's inadvertently falling back on truck drivers who are leasing or independent contractors.
Stop it, fatty cake.
But it doesn't make sense to me because we are, even if you're like with Prime or Snyder or Pam or whoever, and you're actually leasing that truck through the company.
Well, Schneider doesn't lease their truck through their companies. They go through SFI is separate.
SFI, yeah.
So that again, that would be the actual independent contractor, like where this is coming from. There's three prongs to it. The worker's free from the control and direction of the hire of the connection with the performance of work. The worker performs work that is outside the usual course of the hiring entity business, which is what gives us the problem as to why owner-operators that are leased onto a carrier can't do business in California now. So, let's see. So, and then number three is the workers customarily engaged in an independently established trade, occupation, or business of the same nature as work performed by the hiring entity. So, but here's the thing that's irritating. So they exclude insurance. Okay, doctors, all right. Dentists. I mean, I don't want to look like a Brit, so okay. Insurance agents, lawyers, accountants, security brokers, real estate agents, hairstylists, and what they call creative professionals. Okay, I don't know what a creative professional is, but if that's what they call OnlyFans girls and guys, nah, suck it. That's not cool. But I don't understand. So the thing is the majority of the port drivers in California fall under as lease operators or independent contractors or things of that nature, and this is literally like right here. You can deliver loads into California, but you cannot pick up loads. So literally all that California is doing is they are literally destroying our economy from everything that comes out of the ports of California. So personally, I see a myriad of things that are going to happen. One, California is going to suffer. Number two, the rest of the country is going to suffer. Three, we're going to get sick of it, and we're going to stop sending freight through the ports of California, and they're going to go to Texas and Louisiana and Florida and all those ports and along the eastern seaboard, which is going to cause things to go even higher. So
One of the things that
I mean,
confuses me is
I I write stick YouTubers. What do you mean YouTubers? Did I do something wrong? I'm
no,
sorry, buddy.
he's talking about
Or did
YouTubers
I
or
miss something?
professional creators.
Oh, okay, I got you.
But what
Okay, I
confuses
got you. That
me,
makes I guess that makes sense.
because it said in there, owner operators are not exempt. But if you are an owner operator,
Exactly.
why can't you lease onto a company? It's going to destroy the state of California. It very might will, because California
I
has
mean,
the most busiest ports in the country.
dude, have you like, dude? Anyone who's ever been to LA knows how busy like they are down there in the ports. Like it's nuts.
Yeah, LA is ridiculous.
Yeah. And so, yeah, like we were talking earlier on a sidebar, where it says, deadhead out of California. Depending on where you are in California, I mean, how long does it take? I mean, it don't take that long to get over Donner's Pass empty. But if you're in LA trying to, and it's 55 mile an hour because they do the double nickel there, and you're trying to get out of California back to Arizona, that's a full 8 hours a day. Let alone if you're down in San Diego all the way down at the bottom,
Depending on where you're at, it can be between 4 to 8 hours just trying to get out of California.
So, the future going forward, what do you think this is going to end up being like? Because,
I'm glad you asked this question, because I do have a prediction.
I don't foresee this sticking. I don't see this sticking around very long. Once this whole thing blows up in their face, and Oregon and Washington and New York, Illinois, and the places that are really watching this to see where it goes, because they want to get that tax money like time now. I think once this whole thing blows up, that's it. They're gonna watch it just tank, and that's gonna be the end of it.
I'm going to go ahead and make this prediction right now. Well,
the company could put company drivers in California and specifically run the freight to a drop yard in Nevada, Arizona, and Oregon. I've been saying that for years. What they ought to do is, since this is going to ruffle some feathers, since all the prime guys like to drive at 55 miles an hour, why don't they put all the prime drivers in California, the company guys, let them just have control over California, and then we'll just set stage drop yards across the border, just like you're saying, and then we'll go just drop our stuff at the border, and then they can all just run it in there.
Well, here's my prediction. Yeah, I agree with Lone Wolf there. My prediction is they're going to put this through, and then they're going to let it run for like 6 months. And then they're going to come in with a hard revision. They will not get rid of it, but they will revise it. That's what I'm going to predict. And they're going to change some wording or terms or something to make it to where it excludes truck drivers like ourselves and legit owner operators. Because there's so many of them, and a lot of them, like you and I, were leased on to, a major company for the benefit of the freight and fuel surcharges and customer freight and stuff like that. So I'm very educated. And I will go ahead and put this disclaimer out there like you did at the beginning. I'm not an attorney. I would consider myself a lawyer. Lawyers are those who study law. Attorneys are those who practice law. And I study a lot of law. That's kind of like my hobby. But that's going to be my prediction. They are going to do a heavy revision of this law to further exclude or include truck drivers in our position, just because the freight going out of California is going to drop so heavily. I do agree with the drop yard. I mean, I don't know why they're not doing drop yards anyway. And I know you're very familiar with this, especially if you're on 40. Going into California off of 40, it takes you like 4 hours just to actually get anywhere. So why not do
4 hours if you're lucky.
yeah, why not do a drop yard just across the state line?
You'll have
But
to excuse me, yo. I'm sitting here fiddling with my Apu. It has been giving me fits today. It doesn't like it up here apparently.
one of the
Um,
biggest things is the
what?
California port system
Yeah.
because California has the most. California is the state that makes the most amount of money because of the ports, and
Mm-hmm.
we've already had a problem with ports being backed up and backlogged. So if you create an even hungrier system for drivers in California, just in the ports, you're going to create the whole port
Mm-hmm.
problem all over again.
Well, no, I don't foresee that. What's going to happen, at least how I see it, since from what I understand, the majority of their port drivers are independent contractors, is that they're going to see everything just plug up because nobody can pull freight out of there, minus
Yeah,
the company guys, and they're already slow anyway over there. So
yeah.
they're just going to reroute the freight from California, send it to our other ports, and then that's when we're going to get plugged because they're not set up to handle that volume of freight. So the shipping costs are going to go up, the dwell time is going to go up, the detention pay is going to go up. It's going to be it's just going to suck. I mean, we could all be wrong though. This could do us a favor and just
Well, think about
keep us
this
all
for a
out of
second.
there.
Think about this for a second.
Right.
I do believe to cut from the west to the east, you can still go through the Panama Canal. I may be wrong, but you've got the whole southwestern corridor around Texas, Louisiana,
Mhm.
Mississippi, and then you got the whole eastern corridor from Maine to Florida. That's
Right.
a whole lot of ports, and they're
Yeah.
not as busy as they are on the West Coast. So
Yeah.
if they want to reroute shipping freight from the west to the east, I welcome it. Let us have some of that money.
Oh yeah. So Hunter said he wants to know how will this affect DB Shanker, and I rhyme with stick agrees. I don't particularly. I mean, I don't know. We don't have. I mean, as far as the USA DB Shanker merger is concerned, I mean, we don't have any dedicated customers east or west of 35. It's all brokered freight out that way anyway. So, I mean, DB Shanker is like huge worldwide. So like they're the third largest 3PL, I think it is, in the entire world, and they're shooting for number one. So I really don't foresee it hurting DB Shanker. I would be
don't
very
think
impressed if it
Taylor's going
did.
to really care about it.
So, let's see. I think I read somewhere that 70% of drivers on the road were classified as independent contractors. Um, I could believe that. I know back in the 70s and 80s and early 90s, that was the majority of everything. Was everybody was an independent owner operator with their own authority, and there's a very small group that were company drivers. And now it's opposite of that these days. So, I mean, it wouldn't surprise me. Um, DP Shanker is an import-export company that's mostly shipping by ship and airplane. So this will impact them as well. Well, yeah, but I mean, like I said, if they're running their container ships and they're transporting by air, it wouldn't be that hard for them with being as large of a 3PL as they are to just reroute the stuff and put it in different lanes. But like I said, at the end of the day, us as consumers are going to pay the cost for all of that. It's not going to be just a quick cut and dry, solution. So
I'm
I
glad.
wish this
I'm
I wish
glad
this
that
AP would make up its mind.
I'm glad that they brought up the Supreme Court was unwilling to hear this because
Well, I mean,
the Supreme Court has no business interfering with state law anyway, no matter how stupid or how much you don't agree with it. If the state of California wants to screw around with their economy, let them crash. That's what I got to
I
say.
gotcha.
But
So
if
who all here likes to run to California? Speaking of that,
I like running out to California. As far as going into California, that's a different story. I used to run into California all the time when I was a FedEx ground driver. Right. But when I got into solo driving with different companies and I was able to go into California, really the only reason that I would like to go to California anymore is because I got a couple of friends out in California that I could go see, and they got race cars and stuff, so why not?
They
But
won't have them for long.
yeah, not for long. Hell, California pays you can't even have gas powered lawnmowers or generators or anything like that anymore. So I don't know what they're doing.
Let's
But
see.
if
He doesn't like
California
going.
wants to screw around and drive themselves into the dirt, let them. I don't care. It's either they got to screw up and fix their own screw ups or whatever. But none of the other states have the authority or right.
It turned on. It's working.
None of the other states have the authority or the right to interfere with another state's law. So if they want to screw up, fine, let them. As long as it doesn't come into North Carolina, I'm fine.
Let's see. I think once the merger completes, I would be willing to bet USA drivers will be running all 48. Us on the contractor side, I'm running all 48. I go out west all the time. Just as long as I can find the freight that pays to do so. Like today I found a load that was coming out of, hold on, I got the picture of it here. Let me see. Yeah, it was from Milson, PA to Corin, Utah. Which, I mean, that wouldn't be a bad run, 2011 miles, but, I mean, the rate on it sucked. They had it on there for $1.75 a mile. And then I found the exact same load on the brokerage side, and they had it for $38.34 for $1.91 a mile. We're trying to broker it out to somebody else, but that was so we decided not to get with that one. I got in trouble. I got yelled at for asking about that one. But research, right? Let's see. Was gonna bet it was Hunter, but guess not. Let's see. I think once the US 48 drivers will be running on 40. Yeah. So I agree.
I agree with that.
Oh, you were talking about company drivers. Man, honestly, as a company driver, I mean, if you had a good enough lane and a good enough manager, man, I never really, or if you were on a dedicated lane, I never worried about miles as a company driver. And pretty much everything I did was running east of 35, except for when I was running reefer. But, reefer is its own monster on its own. So I think I spent more time in a dock running reefer than I did driving. I actually got to play Xbox and stuff back when I was a reefer driver.
I'm wondering when the merger is complete with DB Schenker and USA Truck, I wonder if they're even going to keep the load boards for the company and contract drivers.
Let's see. There was a nice one going from PA to Washington. Yeah, I saw one on an outside brokerage board that was going from there, but it picked up today and delivered next Monday, and that it just wasn't going to be worth my time. But yeah, I'm delivering up here in Marcy, New York tomorrow, so I'll be probably going down to Pennsylvania somewhere to get a load. This whole area up here is dead. There's nothing coming out tomorrow. So
you're not lying. Now this is my first week running as a independent contractor, and
ooh, he popped his cherry. Woo! Come on, give me a thumbs up in the comments for popping your cherry. Come on now.
But yeah, there really was not a lot of good freight this week. I picked a few things. I picked 3 loads that I thought may give me a little bit of something, just to get me moving, just so I'll have a paycheck next week. Nothing really too good. I got started late in the week, so it really didn't benefit me very well. But
Hunter wants to know if you went to Betty Beaver's.
No.
I think that's a truck stop diner, ain't it, Hunter?
But I'm going to be on my way.
I rhyme with Stick says he's laughing at you.
I'm going to be on my way. I'm currently I just crossed the line into West Virginia from Pennsylvania. And I'm going to be on my way into Grove City, Ohio. I got to deliver a load on Monday. I got to deliver a load.
What was that?
It's my phone. My son's calling me. He'll have to wait.
Oh, okay. Roger.
But
I thought something was coming to.
Got to deliver a load on Monday, and then I'll be going over to the Tip City terminal because
Hmm.
this truck that I'm in has a coolant leak coming from somewhere that I have not yet been able to identify. And I'm going through about a gallon of coolant a day, so it's been a lot of fun.
Man, for me, I don't know what you're talking about, a Betty Beaver. No, that that's kind of like Bush beer. Nobody likes a Bush. Shave it.
I don't mind a little bit of fur on my cat.
Now, gotta keep it PG. We'll get demonetized.
Hey, have you ever seen a furless cat? They look weird.
I think they're cool, man. Those little Egyptian minx things, and they ain't got no fur. They got fur, but they're little bitty things, like little bitty fur. It's kind of like rubbing your face on a chia pet.
I
It's
want to touch
soft but
one.
prickly. I almost bought one time, and my ex-wife wouldn't let me have it. I just wanted it because it reminded me of
I
Beerus.
want to let everybody know right here, right now, because I believe that California is doing this for tax purposes.
Oh, absolutely.
Get
I will 100% guarantee. I will.
get this book,
Oh no.
Business Handbook for Forms W-9, 1099, and U.S. persons. Also, company drivers, Business Guide to Payroll Withholding, clarifying and correcting common misconceptions. Learn the tax law. Learn the 3 chapters that have to do with income tax. Title 26. Learn it.
You're an income tax.
I'm a what?
Use an income tax. Speak
You're a
English. You're
towel.
I'm the best goddamn towel you'll ever have.
Sorry.
Anyway, Hunter says there's one in Marcy, New York. Are you talking? Is that load that goes to Vermont, dude? I looked at that one earlier and it's trash.
Man, I took a picture one time in Vermont on my phone, and it looked like a professional grade picture. That's the only good thing that ever came out of Vermont for me.
Eh, I've been there one time. Don't care to go back.
I think I've been there once, maybe twice. I don't remember. I want to go to Maine one time. I have not been that far northeast.
Maine, it's very hilly.
I just need to go once just to say that I've been there. I like to collect snow globes and um, plates at truck stops when I go there. I
Okay,
don't even like do plates
I
anymore.
gotcha.
I should have went with shot
I'd have to
glasses.
say the. I tell you what, you go to Beaver, Utah, you run into some pretty interesting things.
Beaver, Utah.
Yeah. I'm looking on that board right now, Hunter. I don't see nothing coming out of Marcy. There's a whole bunch of stuff around it now, but there wasn't earlier today. They must have updated it. Ain't no, ain't nothing paying worth anything. Oh, that's not the point. Let's see. Get some awesome foliage. Yeah, from Vermont. Yeah, that's about it. I don't know. I like the desert. I'm a weirdo.
Hey, there ain't nothing wrong with the
Uh,
desert. You love it out west.
Yeah, dude, the des. That's gonna be the one thing I'm gonna miss about California is running out that way. Is the desert in the winter, being able to see the just the desert covered in snow. Like that is such a unique experience when the desert's supposed to be a hot, merciless, just dry, dead place, and then you get there and you see snow on the ground. You're running through all of Arizona and through the Sierra Nevada, and everything's covered in snow. It's freaking weird. It's nice.
I don't like snow.
Oh, the truck stop Betty Beavers is in Marcy. Well, I don't know. I know, dude. I don't come up here. The only reason I came up here is because I paid $3.71 a mile to come up here. But let's see. I rhyme with stick. I wish I was coming out of Tip City Monday. Nice loads coming out of Kentucky to PA. Yeah, Tip City area is pretty good. I like a lot. I mean, that's kind of one of my go-to places. I don't mind it there. The shop's good. The shop does really good work. That's the only place I've ever let work on my truck in this actual, as far as the company shops, and they haven't totally screwed me. Or I had to come back a day later to get it refixed again. So, but yeah, I mean this. I mean honestly, I mean there's things that I'm gonna miss about running out to California, but I mean it's not like it's the end all be all, you know. I mean so being here at USA it sucks because if you go out west, the majority of our freight that comes out of the west, we don't have anything that comes out of Nevada hardly, unless it was Las Vegas. There's next to nothing that comes out of Reno. Utah's dead. Wyoming has one-offs. There's nothing in Montana. Washington and Oregon, you'll see onesies, twosies there. California, though, has a buku bunch of freight that we could pull up out of there. So,
I think there's going to be a lot of drivers that they don't even care about this because they don't. Who likes to go to California? I mean, like,
they think I'm weird, but I like it. Let's see, Bryson Fruthis. What's up, pimps? Nothing. Just holding it down, homie. That's all we doing.
That's my son.
I got you.
Do your homework,
down, little homie. What's going on? So, but yeah, I mean, I don't know. Is it a big loss? Yeah, because it takes away a lot of freight options. The loads coming out of California. I mean, cross country. I mean, last year they had loads that were paying $8, $9, $10,000 running out of California back to like Michigan and North Carolina and West Virginia and places like that. I mean, it was good money.
I'm wondering how this is going to work for FedEx.
Yeah, because a lot of FedEx's dudes are independent contractors too, aren't they?
Yeah. Well, FedEx, anybody that hauls.
Good job. Hold on. Good job, California. Santa Claus can't come to you now. Good job.
FedEx Ground is different than FedEx Expedite, and well, no, FedEx Expedite is kind of like FedEx Ground too. Really, the only drivers who are.
That's what Roger. Rate's got to be good in order to get it.
That's true. Rhymes with stick.
Yep.
FedEx Freight, the guys that drive for FedEx Freight, those guys are actual FedEx employees. FedEx Expedite, FedEx Ground, all of those people, even the package delivery drivers, they're all private contractors. So I know that there is a FedEx Ground terminal in Rialto, California.
Right.
And there's obviously more, but I went to that one a lot.
So, another thing. Okay, I guess we skipped over this. So in the article, it said that they retroacted AB5 to January 1st, 2020 of being effective, right? What about those of us who have all ran in and out of California as independent contractors in that time frame that they just retroacted it back to January 1st, 2020? I believe that's where what they said. Where's that at? Yeah, retro. Here it is. Hold on. It is. Come on, do it right. Yeah, right here. California law retroactive to January 1st, 2020. So while this wasn't law for the last 2 years, what about those of us who have run freight in and out of California and taken loads out of California as independent contractors while they were figuring this stuff out? Well, I mean, what's going to happen about that? There's nothing that specifies that. So, I mean, are we just going back to the old days of how things used to be when we just run like a bunch of outlaws and do what we want back before we had ELDs and hope to God old Johnny Law don't catch us?
Why not?
Because we can't get away with that stuff anymore.
That's why I say it's going to be within 6 months before they got to redo this entire BS.
Right. But I run with Stick says, I don't mind going anywhere as long as if the rate's right. I mean, you bet your sweet bippy, if the rate's good enough, we gonna move that freight, and
Yeah.
it's gonna get done. You know, I mean, I don't know. I mean, it just still comes back. What does it mean for the future? I mean, we have so many things right now that's just up in the air. We have our economies tanking. We're going into a recession. Fuel's high. California's kicking all the owner operators out. You can't pull freight out of California anymore if you're not your own carrier or a company driver. I mean, what in the world are these politicians thinking when they're passing these laws? Because they're obviously not looking for the betterment of the people, because all they're doing is they just keep passing these liberal legislations that are just crippling us. And I don't mean liberal as in like all liberals are bad, because that's not the case. I'm not stereotyping or playing the politics game, but I mean just that's exactly what this stuff is destructive liberal policies, which is the same reason everyone is leaving California. So just in general, there's everybody is just kicking each other in the balls while we're all laying here on the ground trying to get back up. None of us can get back up because our nuts are too swollen from constantly getting kicked in them. So, I mean,
I'm
it's
also
just a big
wondering,
giant case of everybody getting shafted with the green weenie.
the article that you read also touches on the point that the current administration wants to adopt what's going on in California to be law of the land. Um, that's the problem with California, is that whatever happens in California, the general government wants to take that and make it law everywhere. It's like California
Yeah.
gets to dictate how everything happens within the republic, and it's ridiculous.
Yeah, you're right. It says there is a significant concern that AB5 will quickly spread to other states like New Jersey, Illinois, Washington, and New York. And the current administration, meaning obviously our leadership in the White House, would like AB5 and the PRO Act to be the rule of the land, and would prefer all people to be employees and members of a labor union, which is completely polar opposite of what our country was founded upon. I'm not trying to go down this soapbox, but I'm going to say this. America was founded on the American dream to come here and do whatever you wanted, worship whatever you wanted, say what you wanted, to be a citizen and build your life and have a future, and to have generational wealth, and a company that you wanted to build to be able to hand down to your family. That's the American dream, to come here and succeed. So why would they want why would they want to destroy the American dream? It doesn't make any sense. It's irritating.
It's like I was telling you earlier. The government is trying to come in
Hold on.
and
I run with stick, buddy. You get some rest. I'll see you next time, bud.
it's like I was telling you earlier, the general government has their hands all over the trucking industry, but the trucking industry is a private entity. And
And right, but here's the thing: you got people out here that are calling for regulation again, and all they're going to do if they regulate it, it's going to be AB5 countrywide.
oh yeah,
So, why would they want to repeal the what is the act that deregulated us? Let me pull this up real quick. Uh, I love the fact I can share my screen on here. What's it called? Motor Carrier Act of 1980. That's what it was. So, it was the Motor Carrier Act of 1980. Basically, the short and skinny of it, if we can get in here, says motor carrier deregulation was part of a sweeping reduction of price controls and entry controls and collective vendor price setting in the United States transportation. Began in 1970 and 1971. Was initiated by the Richard Nixon administration, carried through the Gerald Ford and Jimmy Carter administration, continued into the 1980s collectively, as seen as part of the deregulation of the United States. Since the passage of the Interstate Commerce Act of 1887, the federal government had regulated various transportation modes, starting with the railroad industry and later in the trucking industry and airline industries. Increasing public interest in deregulation led to a series of laws beginning in 1976 with the Railroad Revitalization and the Regulatory Reform Act. The deregulation of the trucking industry began with the Motor Carrier Act of 1980, which was signed into law by President Carter on July 1st, 1980. So basically, what this boils down to is, um, is prior to July 1st, 1980, the government itself regulated the shipping prices on freight. They said how much it moved for, when it could move, yada yada yada. And so it wasn't very competitive because there was a cap on how much we could make. So it wasn't a free market. It was a controlled and incubated environment. So what happened was they came in, they passed deregulation in the Motor Carrier Act of 1980, which took away all of deregulation and gave us a free market back where we could negotiate our own shipping rates, which is when everybody went out and got their own authority and became their own independent contractors and the owner operators and motor carriers and all that started. Um, because you could actually go out there and negotiate your own rates. You could work with load brokers and things of that nature. So why in the world would we want to give up our freedom? And everyone's calling, and there's select people that are calling to uh, get a petition going to undo the Motor Carrier Act of 1980. So why in the world would you want to give up our economic freedom and to give up a free market where we can control our own rates, control our own destinies, and things of that nature? Just because fuel's high, California's passing AB5, why would we give away the American dream? It makes no sense whatsoever.
The American dream, in a nutshell, literally boils down to the ability to have self-determination. That's why we came here. That's what the American dream is to determine for yourself what you're going to do. Nobody can tell you what not to do or what you can do. And that's what we need to get back to in this industry. We need to take it back, which is why you've had a lot of the trucker protests.
Okay, the only protest that got anything done was the Canadians. The truckers, whatever that was, all they did was embezzle a bunch of money. That's all they did. It was completely useless. It was a waste of time. It accomplished nothing. The guys in California that are shutting it down and protest, the People's Convoy, that's who it was. Yeah, they're just a bunch of they just they're in some trouble. But just I don't know.
I'm just ready to go Mad Max style. Let's do it.
I mean, quite literally, I would like to. It would only if we would just as a people and as an industry grow a set of balls and have the intestinal fortitude to stand up for ourselves, our industry, and for things to be done the right way. And we would get rid of these weak-minded individuals who just want to hand out and want the government to take care of everything. And, things would get better. The problem is we have an entire society based on weak people who want to give voices to the minority instead of the majority. And that's how these laws get passed, is because people refuse to do the right thing and vote for people and put people in power who are going to do the right things. Honestly, it boils down to we the people are retarded is why things are the way they are.
I think it was Benjamin Franklin that said something about the tyranny of the minority. I believe.
So, if, I don't know.
It's
the same thing as like.
My thing is like I was telling you earlier, is that the general government has had their hands all in the trucking industry for a long time now. We are very heavily regulated. We're not as regulated as it used to be, as you just clearly showed.
We're regulated on safety,
right? We're not regulated like you just showed us, but we're heavily regulated everywhere else. But the government is a public entity. What we're doing is private. What we do is what we do. And we have the right in this country as U.S. citizens to do it. We live here. We have the right to work here, anywhere in one of the 50 states. So private business entities or the government in its public capacity has no authority or right to interfere with the private enterprises of the private sector, whether it's federal or state. And now I know it's not going to happen in California because it's California, but like you said in the article, it's going to all the states like New Jersey and Illinois and Washington, places like that we don't like to go to anyway. So if they want to wreck it, let them. I'm as long as it doesn't
Yeah,
affect me.
but I mean, yeah, okay, and that's fine. I mean, that's not necessarily a bad way to look at it, but I mean, that's taking away freight that we can haul. That's cutting into our bottom line. That's cutting into our industry. And when our industry suffers, our country suffers. It is our right as dutiful citizens to stand up for the betterment of our country and not let it just fall apart. You know?
Well,
Um,
that's I only say it like that because I know it's going to bite them in the butt, and they are going to have to revise it.
right. But when one part of the body suffers, the whole thing suffers.
Oh
You
yeah,
know?
that's why
It's but you can't
this right
save them
here
from
is going to fail, and then everything
right.
up here is going to be barking like crazy at them. They're going to
Mhm.
have to fix it, and they will. This will not stand for long.
I don't know, man. That double nickel standard since the
I've
gas
heard that
shortage
they've
in the
been wanting to change
70s.
that, but that's
They'll
been like
never
several years since I've heard
they'll
that.
never change that. That's never going
I
away.
don't see it happening either. And that's California, Oregon, and Washington as well.
No, Oregon ain't 55.
Some parts of it are.
Yeah, Portland.
Yeah. But see, I used to run out of Portland hauling
Hmm.
flatbeds, so
Oh, I don't know. It's just let's see. It also mentioned the PRO Act in there.
I
Oh,
don't know nothing about that.
well, let's look it up real quick. Let's see. All right, so here we go. We're just gonna hit the highlights on this. Anybody, you guys can look it up if you want. But PRO Act, it's got this is 12 ways the PRO Act will hurt American workers. Says the PRO Act would act to repeal right to work laws, resulting in many workers being forced from a job, a union, in order to keep their jobs. It would make it extremely difficult to work as or hire an independent contractor. Under the PRO Act, franchise owners can't run their business as they see fit. It would prohibit employees from permanently replacing workers during strike. The PRO Act would allow unions to strike and picket businesses that aren't even involved in a labor dispute. Those two are completely contradictual. It could overturn secret ballot unionization elections, making workers vulnerable to coercion and bullying. The PRO Act would eliminate workers' privacy by giving unions access to the personal information in an electric searchable format. It would ambush employees and do quicker unionization elections. It would violate the attorney client privilege standard for business owners. The PRO Act would take away the options for business and workers to settle certain employment disputes out of court. And it would force business owners to subsidize union businesses, and it would impose steep one sided fines on businesses. So basically, the whole thing it boils down to is with AB 5 and the PRO Act, they're just trying to destroy the independent contractor and to do away with small business. That's all it boils down to. You know,
This reminds
for
me of what I've
for
heard.
for a system for a for a system who is very anti big business, they sure don't seem to have the side of small business either. They just seem to want everybody to be on the government's tit. They need to calm their tits and yank them out of everyone's mouths. That's the problem.
This everything you just read reminds me of something that I heard about 5 or 6 years ago when I got into the trucking industry, and that was around the time when they were trying to. I believe that was around the time that they were trying to up the insurance for cargo insurance to 2
Yeah,
million.
they were want. Yeah, they want to raise the cargo insurance up to like 2.5 million from
Yeah,
1.5 million or something like that.
that would have put just about every independent contractor out of business.
Well, I mean, those that only have, your one truck operations more than likely,
Exactly. Those
which is
who
the
are
majority of your independent owner operators.
exactly, and the whole thing behind that was it was not going to hurt these Fortune 500 trucking companies like Prime and Swift and Snyder, uh, GB Shanker, you know, people like that. It wouldn't have
Wait,
been nothing.
Swift is a Fortune 500? How can you hit that much stuff and be a Fortune 500? I'm looking this up. I don't believe that.
They might be. I don't know. I know that they were once one of the top companies in the trucking industry. But either way, the point is, this seems to be the same thing that was trying to be
Swift.
pushed. What?
Sorry, go ahead. Nothing. I'm laughing. Go ahead.
This seems to be another push.
No, you're wrong. They ranked 527.
Oh, whatever. Anyway, this seems to be another big push, just like it was then. Now the 2 million insurance bump didn't pass, right?
I did not follow that because at the time I wasn't thinking about doing this. I didn't decide to start doing this seriously until about a year ago.
I don't think it passed. I still think it's at 1 million. But this seems to be another push just like that one, where it's going to take the competition of big major truck companies and smaller outfits, and it's going to wipe out the smaller outfits just to raise the bigger truck companies, because it's not going to affect them. They have the money to see through it.
Yep. So here's a good question. Good topping speak. You know, since we're talking AB5 and things of that nature, get in the comments below, y'all, and tell us, like, what have y'all? Oh man, I cannot spell. Oof. What have y'all? Hold on, let me fix this. Hide that.
Get it together, man.
It's okay. There we go. Hey, I fixed it. What have y'all seen change in the trucking industry since you've been in? I mean, I've seen quite a bit. When I first got in, they weren't talking anything about automation or anything like that. I mean, when I was a kid, you know, we were around trucks, and they were still pre-def and no emissions and 800 horses. Now every single one of them blew black smoke, and they'd run for 3 or 4 million miles. You know, then DEF came in, ELDs came in, all kinds of stuff, and it's just nothing that has come in has benefited us except. I'm going to be the one guy who's going to say this. I think the ELD honestly was a good thing. Just because of how often people would be coerced and try to be forced into running over their hours and keeping double logbooks.
That's the only thing you can say about that.
Yeah, that's the only thing. Outside of that, I mean, the ELD is trash. I mean,
yeah, I don't run like I'm not a machine. The ELD does not tell anybody when they can run.
Oh, hold on a minute. All the crayons. No, I was a soldier, not a Marine. We didn't eat crayons.
Stop. Oh, that's bad.
No, I didn't eat crayons.
But
I remember one time I went into the Marine recruiter before I went and talked to the Army. You know, we went over my packet and everything, and the last question before he asked me, before I was going to sign that dotted line to be a jarhead, was, well, what's your favorite flavor crayon? And I just got up and walked out, didn't say nothing. Just was kind of disappointed. Went and talked to the Army recruiter, and I said, y'all ain't going to make me eat crayons, are you? He says, nope, you can be all you can be here. I was like, yes.
Why in the world would he ask you such a question?
I don't know. I don't even remember. I don't know where that tangent came from.
Came from Hunter is who it came from.
Yeah, that's true. Big old goofball. Man, I tell you what, you're making me jealous with all the lead paint. Nah, we didn't drink lead paint. They did away with lead paint. That was on the naval boats. They painted them with lead paint. Try again, buddy. But you're making me jealous with all them water bottles. I got my camera, my lights, my computer, my little desk in the way, and all my water's on the other side of it. I forgot to get my water.
You got to be more prepared there, buddy.
Usually I am. I was just in a hurry. This was kind of thrown together. I was in a hurry, but
I know. I was there during
But yeah, so come on. Yeah, come on, y'all. What all have y'all seen change in the trucking industry? How much has it changed in the time that you've been doing it there, Brandon?
I mean,
Has it gotten
honestly,
better?
no, not at all. If anything, it's gotten worse.
Well, I'll say one thing. One thing that's gotten better is company driver pay. I'll say that 2018-19 driver pay went up a lot. There's drivers coming in now as company drivers starting 42, 45. I've seen as high as 50 cents a mile brand out of CDL school. When I got mine civilian side, they were paying,
when I
what
got
was it, 20 cents a mile split if you teamed, and 30 cents a mile for solo.
when I got out of CDL school, I went straight into FedEx Ground team double driving, and I was training, so I was making a trainee's split pay, and I was maybe making 15 cents a mile, which if you've never run team, that was my split. So that 15 cent is what I was actually making and brought home, but I haven't seen any change.
I remember when I was training. When I was training and I was on my trainer's truck, they paid you $300 a week, and you'd run a 70-hour clock.
Yeah, I didn't get anything like that.
And you were team training.
Now, what really ticks me off today in 2022 is that there are companies like USA Truck who are peddling a competitive rate of like 65 cents a mile. I'm used to making like 72 cents a mile as a company driver. And there's companies that are also trying to peddle 60 cents solo as a competitive rate.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know if it's because I haven't really looked that hard for a private company job in so long, but I don't remember competitive rates being so low. Like, are they starting to fall? Have I not been paying attention? I don't know, but
yeah, we're gonna have to cut this here, buddy. My computer's about to die, so
where's your charger?
It's plugged into my microphone,
son.
I know. Hold on, I might have another cable for this microphone in my bag, and then I can plug the computer back in. Maybe. I doubt it though. This video capture card takes up all of my freaking USB spaces.
But yeah, I mean, pay has gone up, and that would be one good thing. But I haven't really seen a lot of change for the better in the trucking industry. Mainly due for the push of a lot more regulation. But we'll just have to see what the future holds for that.
I will agree with you on that one.
I can tell you right now what's going to happen with it is they're going to call for more regulations. They're not going to like the fact that things are so overly regulated, driving up prices and people not being happy with their situation. Then they're going to go back to deregulation. It's just going to be a vicious cycle back and forth.
Yep. Oh, yeah. But, yep, that's going to be it. We're going to have to cut it. I can't find my other cable here. I got all kinds of stuff running all over the place with this setup. So, that's going to be it, buddy. We're going to have to cut this one here. So, we'll hit another one this weekend. We'll touch on this again. So, all right, y'all. We'll see you next time. I love y'all. Y'all be safe out there.